Hello, my name is Arthur, and in the last video we'd left off working towards being able to write a file and trying to get everything in place for that. And there's still some things that I've missed, but I'm thinking that we'll be able to get a file to write in this video. So down here, let's see, where is it? In save file, we start looking at the label for the address, and one thing that hasn't gotten done here is when we do the save as dialog, we haven't done anything with the file address that we're getting. So right now we're getting a file address and freeing it. So we're missing a little bit of stuff here. And what we're missing is a call to set the text to the label. So let's borrow this line out here. In here, we're going to GTK label set text. And then what we're going to set the text to is the file address. And let's shorten that up. Let's shorten that up to just address. We don't need to be so wordy with all this stuff. Just ends up with really long lines. So we'll set the text for the address, and we'll set the text for the text label that we called text. And that one will call on name from address. Passing the address. So now we're setting in the text where we need to. Okay, so that should be good. Now in the write file, we put in this else, and this else was just a test. So we don't need this else anymore. We just printed to confirm that it would do this or not do that. So that was just a test to have it come through write file and not do this. So in order to write a file, we have to be able to get the contents of the buffer. So we need to get access to the buffer. And how we do that is we use GTK text editor. So we need some text editors. We'll call one of them start. We'll call the other one end. Now we need to move start and end to the start and end of the text buffer. So GTK text buffer get start iter GTK. Now I don't think that we actually need to put the bold or the cap print reference to GTK editor. So before we do that, we need to have a page number. So let's find a quick way to not have to type out page num. We have so many occurrences of this line that there should probably just be a function to get the page number for the current page. Okay, so we have page number. That gives us access to the book at the proper page. The book, again, just as a reminder, is the structure, which is called book in the end. So now we would be book at index page num. Dot buff iter, that's the buffer, comma, and start. I think that's right. And then we can copy this and paste it. We'll get the end iter. Get end iter. And end. So yeah, what this does is it actually places start and end at the start and end of the buffer. So now we would need, I think a constant char. Not really sure on this one. Constant char pointer, and let's spell that right. So we'll call this file. GTK TextBuffer. And let's not confuse ourselves here. File will equal GTK TextBuffer get text. And I'm not really 100% sure again if we need to type in to get the capital GTK TextBuffer there or not. So we're going to try it with not, without putting that. The only way I'm ever actually going to know which scenarios actually 100% need that and which ones don't is to just keep experimenting. And yeah, basically go through all of them and try them without it. And then see if I can spot the pattern. So we put start and we don't know the length, so we put -1 and then it, oh actually it's not a -1. What this one is visible text only. So we'll put a false in visible text only. But I don't think it'll matter because I don't think that we have any way to make invisible text anyways. So that gets us where we can look at the function to get the text. So instead of, what I did was I found the counterpart to the function that we called to load a file. So let's actually look at open file, because some of this has been bothering me. And what's been bothering me is this, and this. All of the references to the G file. I've already experimented with this. I got this sorted out by looking through forum posts. And it turns out that the G file is not playing any role here at all. And that's what was bugging me about it. It's like, I was like, well, this doesn't really seem to be any part of this. So I tried it without it to see what would happen. And yeah, the way that worked out was that it didn't play any part of it. Okay, so let's see, where are we at here? I think we're at an if. So we'll just come up and have a look at this. So what this one returns is a Boolean. So basically it's going to say if it worked. So let's go with if it didn't work. So we're going to go if not. G file set contents. If not, G file set contents. Maybe we should make some variables here to handle this part. Because we got to get the text labels, and that's going to get into a pretty long sentence. So let's look at that. Actually, let's just do the really long sentence. So we want just the file name. So we're going to paste this as get text. G contents. So that's the file name. The contents we want to write are file. I don't think we need the ampersand there. The length, we don't know. Set contents flags. Let's see, flags. Oh, this is the wrong one. That's the problem. I have the wrong one up here. That should be filed just set contents. We don't need the flags and stuff. So we have length and error. Length, and for error, we're going to go null. And what we're going to do here, when we don't want to put a semicolon at the end of an if, so if this fails, we would divert off to a warning message that the write failed, but we don't have a warning message, so we're going to print write failed. Like that. Yeah, that ended up a little bulky, but if we wanted to shorten these lines up, we can just drop them down. I'm going to leave them for now, though. Maybe I should have put in the char, but if I put in too many of those right now, then I'll get confused. So let's see, if the write did not fail, we would be GTK, write failed, return. So we'll skip past this. GTK TextBuffer set modified. And we'll just copy this out. So any of these that actually needed the GTK TextBuffer in caps, we'll just throw an error. It won't be able to tell that it's a text buffer for whatever reason. And I'm not really sure exactly why that happens. Okay. So I'm thinking, I think that that's everything. If it isn't, then I should have had another coffee this morning. Okay, so we'll just try to compile. We'll get our usual list here. Okay. Let's see. So up here there's a problem. And let's try to get that somewhere where we can see it. Just having a look at that for a second. Set contents. So where's the problem here? Oh, we're missing a semicolon there. (122) page number. Okay, so I have an idea what's going on there. That would be in the Save As dialog. Let's see, 122. So once we have an address, we need to actually get page number to use it. I'm not sure what those... Oh, yeah, it's just because it doesn't understand that. 125. There's no such thing as file address anymore. I forgot to change it here. Because we changed that to address in the other places to not be so wordy. Oh, lordy. Where's the top of that? Too many arguments to label text. And where is that? Okay. That would be that right there. Not enough. Now I'm seeing that all the rest look like they're very related to brackets. And a bracket problem has a way of cascading downwards. So I don't know if I'm missing one here. So I'm seeing a problem down here. Name from address. Yep, we're missing one right in there. And slowly but surely we're whittling away at that. $87. $87. That's way down there, or way up there. Going the wrong way. Oh, it's probably right here. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, that should be it. It's not counting my brackets and watching when I get to the end of a bracket. We should be able to see the end is highlighted there. So that was a little bit painful. Okay, so this is our first document. Here, let's do this in a more of a test. So this should call up a save as dialog. I have a file called test file on my desktop, so we'll overwrite it. It will give an overwrite. So yeah, we want to replace that. So now we should be able to close this file without being queried. We should be able to load that file back up. We should be able to resave it without being queried. We should be able to close it once it's been saved. And we should be able to load it back up and see that the second save is reflected there. So yeah, as near as I can figure, everything is in order here. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some bugs that need to get ironed out. I know that in the next video, when we get back to this condition of quit, and particularly this one here, that we're going to run into something a little bit more difficult. So I'm still kind of working that one out. But as this is, I think that this is coming along fairly well. We now have the ability to save, and the software can tell if it has never been saved as this file name, and we can choose the option to save as and call this something different. So we could call it test file backup. And it's acting the same way as this software would act, more or less. So yeah, that's as far as I've gotten so far. And in the next video, we'll deal with the X, because this X is more difficult than I'd at first anticipated to go through and deal with a scenario where there's unsaved documents. So we'll have a look at that in the next video and sort some of that out. And hopefully this doesn't have a bunch of bugs in it. I think that it's all pretty straight, and it does require for sitting down and sort of messing around and trying to make things go wrong to know that everything is working and that it doesn't have exceptions in it. But I don't think that there's a lot of room for exceptions here. It's not all that complicated. And yeah, since my last video, I had a power outage in the middle of doing a video. So I had to sort of rewrite my script into the state it was in the last video. So hopefully it's exactly the same as it was at the end of the last video. And maybe for this video, I'll go and I'll scroll through the script. For people who don't want to watch all the videos, it's easy enough to pause the video to see what's written here. And to keep in mind that not everything that's written here is going to stay here because this is all evolving. So after each video, the script is basically evolving and different. So we'll just scroll through this, and when we get down to the part with the commented out G file, we'll get rid of that, because this no longer needs to be here. That was something that was never needed, and kind of the consequence of not being able to find documentation to cover things and resorting to looking in forum posts to find answers, because some of the script that we find there is not the way that it should be. Just like some of this script is not the way it should be. How could it possibly be with the small amount of time I actually have under my belt in C and GTK? I would be amazed if this is exactly the way it should be done or anything of that nature. So that's it. That's the whole script up to now. I'm not big on putting scripts into copy and paste places, and I'm not big on copy and pasting other people's script. So I do it in my videos, and I largely do that for the sake of time, but usually when I'm writing, I don't copy and paste even from my own script, because it helps me to learn. So yeah, that's kind of my bent on it, and that's also kind of the way it is. So this is what I have to offer. So yeah, that's it for this video. In the next video, we'll come back, we'll fix this signal, we'll fix the main window, and we'll look at getting in place the routine for when we close the application with unsaved documents, and try to get that avenue covered as well. So until then, I hope this was useful, and take care.